Welcome to the KeeKee's Big Adventures Family Travel Podcast, here to help inspire and plan your family's next big adventure. KeeKee's Big Adventures all started with the award-winning picture book series starring KeeKee, the globe-trotting cat, exploring the world's diverse places, people, and cultures. I'm Shannon, the author and creator of KeeKee's Big Adventures. Moms and families love the books and asked for help planning their own adventures, so the podcast was created to help. Adventure awaits! On today's episode, we have 𝗪𝗂𝗄, who is the Director of Operations and President of Austin Adventures. I recently discovered Austin Adventures through the Family Travel Association. She was sharing all about the company and their fantastic offerings for families, and I thought, we need to have her on the podcast to tell more families. So welcome to the podcast, 𝗪𝗂𝗄.
Thanks so much, Shannon. It's really good to be here, and I'm really excited to talk to your audience today about family travel in general and with Austin Adventures as well. And yeah, let's get into it here.
Let's do it. So tell us about Austin Adventures.
Yeah, so Austin Adventures, they're a brand that mostly focuses on travel in North America and in and around the national parks. So we do a lot of family trips. That's kind of our thing. That's what we're known for. And we offer all-inclusive, guided, active, multi-sport group vacation packages. So that's a lot. What does that mean? So let's just quickly break it down. All-inclusive means that while you have to get yourself to and from the destination, because we don't include airfare, we do pick you up at your hotel on day one and basically just handle all the vacation stuff from there. So that means your lodging, your meals, your transportation, your guides, your activities, your equipment, all that good stuff. And you don't have to worry about booking any of it. You just show up and it's already been pre-booked. The route and activities have already been chosen. Literally, you don't have to do any work. And that's amazing as a parent. Parents already have enough going on in their own world that they just want to sit back and relax, maybe on vacation. So that's what we do, is take care of all those details for you. Active and multi-sport means we run active vacations, meaning we're hiking, biking, horseback riding, whitewater rafting, kayaking, anything that gets us out of a vehicle and into the natural world around us and experiencing that natural world by doing really fun things that kids will love. And then multi-sport means we're combining lots of activities into one trip. So it's not just a biking only adventure, which might get a little boring for kids. It's not just hiking. We might zip line in the morning one day and bike in the afternoon. And then we might go on a long hike the next day with different options of distances for families who might have kids that want to hike less or more. And yeah, that way we have lots of good choices. And then guided means that you'll have 2 to 3 expert guides with you that know these areas like the back of their hand. They know the best activities to do. They know the best routes that will optimize your time. They have backup plans if something is closed, because we've all showed up to that trailhead where it's closed. What do I do now? That's not so fun with kids. So they know what can we do as a plan B through Z. And then they can also whip up an incredible picnic out of the back of their trailer, which is amazing. And they are just plain fun individuals. So they take a lot of the pressure off of parents delivering that good time. And then last but not least, a group vacation package. This basically means we're booking multiple families onto group trips. So up to 18 guests with 3 guides, that's considered small group travel compared to the big bus tours out there and stuff like that. So booking a group vacation has lots of benefits, but I would say the top 2 in my mind are you get to meet other like-minded families who are also wanting to travel in natural areas. And so they have a lot of the same interests, oftentimes the same age kids, which is really fun. And also just good for budgeting purposes. You get to take all of the fixed costs of traveling in a van and the gas costs and things like that. And you get to spread it across a bigger group. So you're not paying for nearly as much. It's a really good value actually as well. So that is a really long explanation about what Austin Adventures does.
No, it's fantastic. Going to a national park can be a bit daunting, like you were saying, which parks to go to, what's open, how do I get the right accommodations and activities, and to be able to turn that over to someone and have the whole family be able to experience nature and the parks and just enjoy themselves and do really cool things is a parent's dream.
Yes, and it can take so much time and effort to plan a national park trip. The national parks are the United States, and I guess we operate in Canada too, but it's like our best thing ever that we have right here in our backyard. But it is amazing how many people and families that have never been even to one national park, which is just insane to me. But I think when you start to do the planning, it just becomes really overwhelming because the national park properties are all booked up. All of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, where do I stay? Or there's just so many things to do on TripAdvisor or trail books. You're looking at what hike should I do? And there's 100 trails in the park. I don't know what to choose. So it just becomes really overwhelming. And I think parents already have a lot of overwhelming things going on in their own life. So they're just like, you know what? I'll just put this off for another year and we won't worry about it. That's where we come in, is we're the experts on these national park trips. And we already have been running trips in these areas for 20, 25, 30 years in some cases. Yellowstone is our #1 selling trip. It has been for a long, long time because I'm located in Billings, Montana. That's right here in our backyard.
This is just a really approachable way to do it. And I also think that people say, group tours, guided vacations. I don't do that. And I have totally been guilty of saying that.
I'm guilty of saying that sometimes.
But to your point, it's not 50 people
right
on a bus, unloading and then getting back on. So this is completely different.
Exactly. And let's just use Old Faithful because it's right in my favorite national park in our backyard. And Old Faithful is the big famous geyser in Yellowstone National Park. But if we're going to go see Old Faithful, we would get there a completely different way than everyone else. So the normal way to go see Old Faithful is to drive up in your vehicle with your family. You're driving around the parking lot for 30 minutes trying to find a parking spot and just going in circles, hoping that you're going to get out in time to be able to go see Old Faithful go off. And it goes off about every 90 minutes. So you're on a time frame here trying to catch it. How we would do that is we would go to a trailhead that is maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles away. We're parking the van there and we are getting out and we're going to hike in this back way past these hidden hot springs that not a lot of people get to see because they don't know they're there because they're going to Old Faithful. It's the place they read about in the guidebook. So that's where they're heading to. But we're going to walk past all these beautiful hot springs, beautiful blue color. In the backcountry, we're going to be learning about the lodgepole pine trees as we go along. And then we'll eventually hike into Old Faithful, kind of the back way. Yes, we'll be seeing it with everyone else because there isn't really another way to see Old Faithful other than like with the crowds. But you felt like you got there a different way. You're not like stressing out about driving in circles around the parking lot or having to figure out where it is in this giant complex and things like that. So your guide's going to take you there. And then the other magical thing is you don't even have to hike back to the van. The van is going to be driven by another guide that comes and parks behind the scenes. And they're actually going to go park and set up a lunch for you. So as soon as you see Old Faithful go off, because our guides have been in radio contact about when it's going to happen and they're making sure you show up at the right time, you just hike yourself on over to lunch. You sit down. You don't have to go stand in line with the 150 people that just watched Old Faithful go off that are going to go over to the cafeteria next to go pick up their turkey sandwich. Nope, we're going to go over to our folded chairs, our beautiful picnic spread, and we're just going to go sit back and relax and enjoy a picnic before we head out to our next activity. Hello, doesn't that sound amazing?
It sounds absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I am ready to go. And I think the other cool thing that you were talking about were the guides and parks and historic locations and things could potentially be boring for the kids.
Yeah, well, the guides are making things come alive. And I think that's where maybe the challenge is, especially as a parent trying to bring your kid to a park, is like your kids are listening to you all day long and they're with you all day long. So if you're trying to teach them a history lesson out of a guidebook that you don't even know very well because you're reading it for the first time, trying to impart what that means to a kid at the same time, that's a challenge. But when our guides are in these places week in and week out, they've learned over time, like, what are the best ways to teach kids this information? And it might be some demonstrations of different things. It might be taking them into a visitor center to see it visually on a wall in front of you. It might be explaining it in multiple different ways over the course of the trip as you're seeing different things. So there's lots of amazing ways for the guides to connect with kids. And one of my favorite things about these trips is people sign up not even realizing that this is going to be like a educational tour as well, but it's done in a very fun way that parents are just like, wow, I not only got to see this place and experience all these activities, but we also learned a ton about these parks as well while we were touring around, which makes it even better. It's basically like a traveling school in a way, you know, so that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. To be able to see it and then have it come to life like that in a way that's educational and the kids don't even realize it. So it sounds like Yellowstone, you mentioned, is one of your most popular itineraries. Tell us a little bit about either that one or some other ones. How long are they? You said there's tons of activities. Take us through a great vacation.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Since we keep referring to Yellowstone, let's just stay there. We are going to fly in and out of Bozeman, Montana. So again, you just have to get there on your own. All of our family tours start on a Sunday and end on a Friday. And they mostly take place during the summer just because that's when kids are on summer vacations. And also, if we are going on a Sunday to Friday for work purposes, you just miss 1 week of work yourself. So you can fly in on a Saturday, you get picked up on a Sunday morning, and then you can fly home on a Friday or choose to extend your vacation maybe by a couple days if you choose to hang out in Bozeman, Montana, which is the host city for the Yellowstone tour. You'd fly in and then you are going to get picked up from your guide at your first hotel that you're staying at. They'll pick you up and they'll take you to your first activity. And basically over the next 6 days, since this is a Sunday to Friday trip, you're going to be going through 3 major areas in and around Yellowstone. So we'll start off by going through the Gallatin Canyon, which is this beautiful river-carved canyon. That is where we'll do some of our activities outside the park, are exciting ones. We actually start off with ziplining on this tour, which is kind of crazy to people because some people have a little bit of a fear of heights, and typically an activity that a lot of kids have never done before. So it's really exciting and a great way to start the trip off with a bonding experience because we have to get a little bit uncomfortable, get comfortable with each other. So we start off with that, and then we head into the park through the west entrance at West Yellowstone, and we stay at the Old Faithful Inn, which is the historic lodging in the park, which is amazing and hard to get into as well. If you're not planning a year plus in advance, you're not getting into this lodge. So that's another great reason to go with a tour operator, is they are planning years in advance oftentimes to try and snag this space up. We'll stay at Old Faithful, get to see that whole amazing geothermal feature. Of course, we'll probably see it multiple times go off since we're staying there. We're eating in the parks as well, so we'll eat at the Old Faithful dining room, which is pretty famous. Then we will make our way to the park. So I won't go through the super detail, but a lot of what we do in the park is just hiking around the park because there's not a lot of activity to do in the park itself. A lot of it is hiking trail focused. So we'll do most of our hiking inside the park. And we'll get to check out things like Old Faithful, like I said, Grand Prismatic Hot Spring, which is the 3rd largest hot spring in the world. Very colorful. You see it on every postcard of Yellowstone. So of course, we've got to check it out. We'll go to Lake Yellowstone, which is a huge lake. It's the largest high alpine lake, which means it's the largest lake above 7,000 feet in North America. So it looks like a giant ocean and it's very cold. So we sometimes will do a polar bear plunge in there if the kids are brave enough, which is fun.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I've got to be brave for that one. It's like 42 degrees year round.
Oh yeah, that's cold.
Yep. And then we'll see Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, which is really famous, and Mammoth Hot Springs. We'll go over to Lamar Valley to go look for wolves and bears and coyotes and foxes and bald eagles and anything that we can get our eyes on. We take our spotting scopes and our binoculars, which again is nice to not have to bring that stuff with you because that's expensive equipment to invest in. Then we'll exit the park out of the north entrance, which is the original entrance of Yellowstone. So you get to see the big famous Roosevelt Arch and go into the town of Gardner, stay there for a night, which is kind of a fun rafting town. They have 5 or 6 different rafting companies in this little town. So of course, we're going to go rafting down the Yellowstone River while we're there. We'll end the tour with some horseback riding in a place called Paradise Valley, which is our 3rd major area. The Gallatin River Canyon was where we started. Yellowstone National Park, which is our giant volcanic area in Montana. And then we go into glacier-carved Paradise Valley, which is a giant U-shaped valley, and it's beautiful. So we go horseback riding there with some 4th-generation ranchers, and then we end back in Bozeman. So it's just a giant loop. We stay in the park for 3 nights, and we stay outside the park for 2 nights, and it's just a good combination because the park is really busy inside, but as soon as you go outside, you kind of get to breathe again and not have all the people around you. But of course, we're doing our best to keep you away from the crowds by doing lots of cool backcountry stuff while we're in the park. And not necessarily, we're not hiking 10 miles or anything like that. It's all kid-friendly stuff. Families just get to the end of this and they're like, wow, I never would have been able to fit in as much as we did.
That's
yeah,
so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And it just sounds like it is a small group and you put families together. So there's kids of different ages, which must be fun for the kids and the parents, not having to keep everybody entertained the whole time.
That's actually one of my favorite parts of the family trips is we try and steer families with similar age kids together. So we'll get 3 or 4 8-year-olds on a trip and they just have a ball together. It takes a lot of pressure off of the parents having to deliver because the kids just hike together on the trails. Sometimes we'll have 2 vans on a trip and the kids will bond so much that they're like, we want to make this the kids' van and the parents can go in their own van. So we're like jamming out to kid tunes and stuff in our van and the parents are getting more of the educational side in their van. But it is pretty funny how the family trips turn out because the kids really run the show.
So that's great. And then again, parents can sit back and just enjoy themselves too.
Exactly. And I've always said if the kids are having fun, then the parents are having fun.
Completely.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find out more if they are interested in some of your amazing offerings?
We have a website, of course, so that would probably be the best place to go get any information on Austin Adventures. Just go to www.austinadventures.com. Sounds like Austin is in Austin, Texas. It's actually our family's last name. My last name's morrissey, but my dad started this company when I was a wee child at 6 years old. So I grew up in the industry, which is a pretty cool fun fact. Yeah.
That's amazing. So this is like a family business from generations.
Yeah, I got to go on the trips as a kid. And that's why they're so amazing, is because I got to trial test these as a kid. And I still remember those experiences from when I was a kid and going on these tours. And then I guided the tours and got to experience it from a different angle. And then I managed our guide team. So I get to teach them what our kids are looking for. So it's kind of gone up through the ranks over the years and everything, but it's fun. I've never forgotten though that experience of looking up to the guides as a kid myself and wanting to be a guide when I grew up because they're just so cool, you know? But yeah, that's the best place though, is to go to our website. But we also have a Facebook page, Austin Adventures, or you can search us on Instagram. That's where you can find us.
Great. Thank you so much, Casey, for joining us. And we will share even more on the website and fantastic pictures. Go check out their website because I was on there just ready to sign up for a vacation in the park.
Get lost in there. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yep. Nice. Shannon?
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the KeeKee's Big Adventures Family Travel Podcast. Visit the episode webpage for all the details from today and lots more travel planning resources. We look forward to traveling with you on the next episode. Adventure awaits.